What kinds of appointments do you make in your life? Where do you go to make your appointments? What kinds of things do you do when you make appointments? Tell me what you exactly do when you make these appointments. Tell me about the banks in your country. What do they typically look like? Where are they usually located? What do you do from the moment you walk into the bank until you walk out? Tell me everything about what goes on when you visit the bank. You've indicated that you like to go to the beach. Tell me about a beach that you like to go to. What does this place look like? What kinds of things do you like to do when you go to the beach? Tell me about the activities you typically do when you go to the beach. You've indicated that you go to coffee shops. Tell me about the cafes in your community. What do you normally do when you go to coffee shops? Do you have meetings or gatherings there? Tell me what you like to do. You indicated in the survey that you like to take vacations domestically. Tell me about some of the places you like to travel to and why you like going there. Can you tell me about things you do in order to prepare for trips? Describe a family or a friend you have. What is he or she like? What is special about that person? Tell me about what you do with your friends or family members when you meet them. Tell me about visits to a friend's or a family member's house. What do you normally do when you go there? What kinds of clothes do people in your country typically wear? Are there different clothes for work and for play? Tell me about the clothes in your country. What kinds of clothes do you like to wear personally? What are you wearing today? What kind of fashion style do you like? Give me all the details about your fashion style. I would like to know how people dress in your country. What kinds of clothes do they wear for work or play? What do you do when you go shopping? Where do you go and what do you look for? Tell me about your typical shopping habits in detail. Many people try to eat healthy these days. What kinds of foods are healthy and why are they healthy for us? What are some of the popular dishes in your country? What is special about the dish? Please describe in detail. What are some of the typical foods in your country? What dishes are popular? How do you shop for healthy food? What kinds of things do you have to do to cook healthy food? What do you eat on a regular day? Tell me everything that you eat in detail. Where do people in your country go to in their free time? Do they go to beaches? Do they go to parks or any other places? What are some popular free time locations in your country? What do people typically do in their free time? What is special about those activities? Tell me about the furniture you have in your home. Is there a piece that is your favorite? Tell me about how you use your furniture on a typical day. What kinds of things do you do with your furniture? You indicated that you play games. What kinds of games do you like to play? Why do you like playing game? What is your favorite game? Why do you like it? What are the rules? Where do people usually have celebrations or gatherings in the area where you live or work? Is it at someone's home, or a park, or somewhere else? Tell me everything about that place in as much detail as you can. Talk about gatherings and celebrations in your country. What do people do when they get together or celebrate things? Tell me about some of the gatherings or celebrations that happen at where you live. Describe your country's geography for me. Are there mountains, lakes, or rivers? What is your country like? I'd like you to describe a favorite place in your country from your childhood, and describe that place for me. What do you remember of that place? What was it like when you were a child? Tell me a little bit about a neighboring country close to your country. Tell me what the country looks like, about its people, and some of its traditions. I'd like for you to describe a favorite place in your country from your childhood, and describe that place for me. What do you remember of that place? What was it like when you were a child? Tell me about the outdoor activities that are popular in your country. Do people go hiking, biking, or swimming? What do people typically do outdoors? Please tell me about what kinds of free time activities people in your country do. I'd like to ask you to describe a healthy person you know of. What makes that person healthy? Why do you think that way? Tell me everything about the things that make that person healthy. Tell me about some popular holidays in your country. Where do people typically celebrate their holidays? What kinds of things do they do to celebrate? Tell me about the hotels in your country. What are these places like? Tell me what you typically do when you go to a hotel. What do you do first, second, and so on? When do you usually stay at hotels? I would like to know where you live. Can you describe your home to me? What does it look like? How many rooms does it have? Give me a description with lots of details. I would like to know about where you live. Talk about the different rooms at your place. Tell me about your favorite room in your home. What does it look like? I would like to now talk about where you live. What is your favorite room in your home? What does it look like? Talk about the place you lived in and the surrounding area when you were a child. What do you remember about that place? Describe your home in your early childhood in as much detail as possible. What is your normal routine at home? What things do you usually do on weekdays and what kinds of things do you do on weekends? What is your normal routine at home? What things do you usually do during the weekdays? What kinds of things do you do on the weekend? What kinds of things do you do to keep your house clean and comfortable? What kinds of housework do you do at home? Tell me about your normal routine at home. What do you do on weekdays and on weekends? What is your responsibility at home or in your family? What is your role? Tell me in detail. I would like to now talk about where you live. Tell me about the different responsibilities in your home. Who is responsible for what? How do things get done? Talk about one of the rising industries or companies in your country. Why is that industry or company famous and what is special about it? Talk about a promising company of the industry you mentioned about. What is special about that company? Tell me about the benefits the industry is providing. What kinds of benefits does it bring about? What kinds of companies do young people want to work for these days? Why do they want to work for those companies? What do people usually do on the internet? Do they play games, watch television, etc.? Talk about the things people do online in detail. What do you normally do on the internet? Do you like online shopping? Do you like sharing videos you've watched? Tell me about everything that you do online. Talk about the videos that you watch on the internet. They can be about work, school, or leisure activities. What types of videos do you typically watch? You indicated in the survey that you like to watch movies with adults. What kinds of movies do you like to watch? Why do you like those types of movies? Who is your favorite movie star? Talk about recent news about your favorite actor or actress. Start by telling me about his or her background and then describe in detail about what happened on the news. What interested the fans? Tell me what you usually do when you go to the movies. Who do you like to go with? What do you do before and after the movie? You indicated in the survey that you listen to music. What kinds of music do you listen to? Who are some of your favorite musicians or composers? When and where do you usually go to listen to music? Do you listen to the radio? Do you go to concerts? Tell me about the different ways you enjoy music. Tell me about your neighbors. Are they nice people? Are you close to them? You indicated in the survey that you travel internationally. Could you describe for me one of the countries you've visited? What did it look like? And what were the people like there? Tell me about a popular place tourists like to go to when traveling outside your country. Why do they like visiting those locations? Where do people in your country go to when they travel abroad? Why do they like visiting those locations? What is special about the countries they visit? Talk about the things that you typically do when you visit another country or overseas city. Tell me about where tourists go and what they do on their overseas trips. You indicated in the survey that you go to parks with adults. Tell me about the kinds of parks that you like to visit. What do the parks look like? Describe what a typical visit to a park is like for you. Tell me about the things you do and see at parks. What do you like most about your phone? Maybe you like the camera or maybe you like certain applications. Tell me why you like those features and why. Tell me when and where you talk on the phone most often. Plus, who do you talk with when you talk on the phone? Tell me when and where you talk on the phone most often. Who do you talk with most often? What do you and your friends do on your phones besides talking to each other over the phone? Do you make updates on your social media pages? Do you play games? Tell me what you typically do on your phone. I would like to know about phone calls that you make. What kinds of things do you talk about with your friends over the phone? I'd like to know about how recycling is practiced in your country. What do people specifically do? Tell me how things are recycled. Recycling is a common practice. Tell me about all the different kinds of things that you recycle. I would like to know about restaurants in your country. What do typical restaurants look like? What kinds of food do they commonly offer? How do busy working people usually get their meals on weekdays? Do they order food or go to restaurants? What do they usually do? What do you usually do for dinner during the week? Do you order food or go out to eat? Do you make your own meals? Does someone else cook for you? Do you eat alone, or eat with other people? You indicated in the survey that you like to go shopping. Talk about stores or shopping centers in your country. What are they like? Describe them in detail. Where do you go when you go shopping for something? What do you buy when you go there? What is special about that place? You indicated in the survey that you like to go shopping. Let's talk about your shopping habits. How often do you go shopping? What do you most often buy? Where do you go for your shopping? You indicated that you use social networking sites. Tell me about the kind of messages people post up in general. Tell me about the messages you post up on social networking sites. What kind of comments do you leave on other people's postings? How often do you post things up on social media? What kind of device do you use when you post things up on social networking sites? What is special about the device? Do you use a different device now compared to the past? Give me all the details. You stated in the survey that you enjoy swimming. How often do you go swimming and why do you like swimming? What are the advantages of this activity? What kinds of technology do people typically use in your country? Do people use computers, cell phones, or handheld devices? What are some common forms of technology that people use? Which piece of technology do you use most often? Do you use computers or mobile phones? Tell me about the most typical type of technology you use every day. Tell me about how people get around in your country. Do they drive their own cars or take trains? What are some typical means of transportation to get around? What means of transportation do you use to get around? Do you drive or take public transportation? How did you travel when you were a child? Were the types of transportation different back then? Describe for me how people used to get around in your city or town. Tell me about the different kinds of TV shows or movies you like to watch. Pick your favorite TV or movie character and tell me all the things that character does in the show or movie. Tell me what you usually do when you watch TV shows or movies. When do you watch it? Who do you watch it with? Where do you watch it? Tell me about your typical routine when you watch TV shows or movies. You indicated in the survey that you stay at home for vacations. Who are the people you would like to see and spend time with on your vacation? Describe some of the things that you would like to do with people you visit or see during your vacation. Tell me about the weather at where you live. How are the seasons? What is the weather like in each season? Which season do you personally like? How is the weather today at where you are? Is it cold or warm? Talk about today's weather in detail. Tell me about the weather in your country. Are there different seasons? What is the weather like in each season? One. Talk about an appointment you made as a child. What was the appointment for? Was it for a doctor, a dentist, or a new school? What did you actually do and what happened when you got to your appointment? 2. Unexpected things can happen when you make an appointment. Talk about a memorable incident related to an appointment. What exactly happened and how did you deal with the situation? 3. Sometimes problems can arise when you are at the bank. Tell me in detail about a problem you had that involved your bank. Maybe the bank was closed or perhaps the bank might have made some kind of mistake. Tell me about how you solved the problem. 4. Tell me about a memorable incident that happened at a bar. What exactly happened and why was it special? Tell me everything about that unforgettable incident at the bar. 5. Tell me about the first bar you remember going to. What did it look like? Give me as many details as you can. 6. Tell me about a special visit to a bar or a pub. Maybe you celebrated your birthday there or that of a friend. Tell me what you did before and after your bar visit and how you spent your time at the bar. Tell me the whole story. 7. Tell me about a particularly memorable trip to the beach. Who were you with? Which beach were you at? What did you do there? What made this trip to the beach more memorable or special? Tell me everything you did from the moment you arrived there. 8. Tell me about a memorable incident that happened at a coffee shop. What happened? Who was involved? How did you deal with the situation? Tell me everything about what happened from beginning to end. 9. Talk about the first coffee shop you went to. What was special about that place? What do you remember most? 10. Traveling can lead to many kinds of interesting, funny, and unexpected experiences. Tell me about one travel experience you had that was unforgettable. Start by telling me when this happened, where you were, and who you were with. Then, tell me about all the things that happened that make this experience so unforgettable. 11. Tell me about some of the trips that you took in your childhood. Where did you go? Who did you go with? And what did you do or see during those early trips? 12. Can you tell me about a piece of furniture you bought recently for some reasons? What was it? Why did you buy it? Where did you buy it? 13. Talk about what you did with your family members or friends recently. Tell me everything about the activities you did with them. 14. Talk about a time when you visited a friend or a family member. What did you do when you visited them? What was memorable about that visit? Tell me everything from beginning to end. 15. Talk about a visit to a friend or a family member in your childhood. Who did you visit and whom did you go with? What do you remember about that visit? What made the visit special? 16. Tell me about the last time you bought a new piece of clothing. What did you need and where did you find it? Were there any challenges or problems? Give me all the details of the story. 17. Talk about a time when you went to buy some clothes. What did you buy and what was special about that shopping experience? 18. Tell me how you found out about eating healthy. Did your family eat healthy when you were growing up? Did your friend become healthier by eating healthy food? Describe to me in detail about how you started to eat healthy. 19. When was the last time you had some healthy food? Who was it with and how did you feel? What was special about that experience? 20. Tell me about a memorable experience you had while eating something. It could be good or bad. What happened? Why was it so memorable or special? Tell me everything in as much detail as possible. 21. Tell me about a memory that you have about a special food or dish from your childhood. Tell me where and when you had this dish. Describe in detail. What made this experience so memorable? 22. Sometimes when we want to eat, things do not work out. Reservations at restaurants get lost or meals delivered to offices or homes have missing items. Tell me a story of a time when you wanted to eat but things did not work out as planned for you or someone you know. Tell me everything you did to resolve this situation from beginning to end. 23. Can you tell me about the last time you had some free time? When was it? What did you do? Did you spend the time with someone? 24. Tell me about a time when you had problems with your furniture. Perhaps it could have gotten damaged for some reason. Tell me what exactly happened and how you solved the problem. 25. Sometimes, problems arise when it comes to furniture. Things might break. Or the fabric might get stained or ripped. Tell me about a time when you had a problem with a piece of furniture. Tell me everything that happened and how you fixed the problem. 26. How did you become interested in playing games? How did you learn how to play? 27. Tell me about a memorable experience from playing games. Why is it so memorable? Tell me about your experience in detail. 28. What did you do at your last gathering or celebration? What was the occasion? Give me all the details about the gathering or the celebration you had. 29. Talk about a memorable incident that happened at a gathering or a celebration. Why was it memorable? What made it unforgettable? 30. Sometimes when people get together for celebrations or gatherings, unexpected things can happen. Tell me all about something unexpected that happened at a celebration or a gathering in the area where you live. Tell me what happened from beginning to end. 31. Tell me about the last holiday party or celebration that you attended. Give me lots of details about what happened. Who was there with you? Tell me about what you did from beginning to end. 32. Tell me about a gathering or a celebration that was held in the area in which you live. Describe where the gathering was held, who was there, what the purpose of the gathering was, and what happened from beginning to end. 33. Talk about a time when you helped prepare for a party or a celebration. Perhaps you helped invite people, decorate the venue, or get the food or drinks. Tell me about this experience from the beginning to end. 34. How did you develop your interest in bike riding? Who taught you how to ride and how old were you? Provide as many details as possible. 35. People often have memorable or moving experiences when they explore their country's geography. You might climb a famous mountain or swim at a beautiful beach. Tell me a memorable story of a time when you visited a natural place in your country. 36. Have you ever changed a habit or a certain lifestyle for your health? Maybe you started to work out or eat healthy. Tell me about that change you made. 37. Talk about one thing that you did for your health in detail. What kind of impact did it have on your health? Give me all the details about the effect that it had on your health. 38. Talk about a holiday memory from your childhood. Tell me where you were and what that place looked like. Tell me everything that you remember from that holiday scene. 39. Talk about the most recent holiday you spent. Why was that holiday memorable? Was there anything special? Talk about why that holiday was particularly unforgettable. 40. People often have memories of especially beautiful and interesting hotels. Tell me about a hotel that you remember for some reason. Where was it? What did it look like? Describe it for me in as much detail as possible. 41. When was the last time you stayed in a hotel? Tell me the whole story of where you were, why you were there, and what you did there. Take me through the whole hotel stay from start to finish. 42. Sometimes we want to change something in our home. Maybe get new furniture or do some painting or decorating. Tell me about one change that you made in your home. Tell me why you decided to make that change and everything you had to do to make that change happen. 43. Talk about a special memory you had at home with your family members. Perhaps you had guests over or had a party of some sort. Tell me about that experience in detail. 44. Talk about a special memory you had with your family members at home. Maybe it was something funny, surprising, or important that happened. Tell me about that moment that stands out in your memory. Give me lots of details. 45. There are always problems that happen in any home. Things break. Projects do not go as planned, or people you live with don't cooperate. Tell me about some problems or issues that have happened in your home. 46. Pick one of those problems you just mentioned and explain everything that happened. Start with when it happened and anything that may have caused the problem. Then, explain in detail everything you did to resolve the problem. 47. What were your responsibilities at home when you were young? What were you expected to do? 48. Tell me about the responsibilities that you had when you were a child. What were you expected to do? How did you handle these responsibilities? 49. Have you ever had any difficulty because you couldn't fulfill your responsibility when you were young? Perhaps you couldn't finish your housework or something. What was it about and how did you deal with the situation? 50. Do you remember a specific incident when you were a child where you could not do a task you were supposed to do for some reason? I would like to know all the details about what happened, what you were supposed to do, and why couldn't you do it? 51. What kinds of efforts have you made for your career in the past? Tell me about some individual efforts that you have made for your career. 52. Tell me about your first experience of surfing the internet. What did you do? What do you remember most about that experience? 53. How did you use the internet to get a project done in the past? When was it? What was the project about? 54. We all have things that we remember on the internet. Talk about the memorable things that you have seen on the internet. Why were they memorable? 55. What is a memorable video that you watched on the internet? Maybe it was something funny, or something about work, school, or leisure. Tell me everything about that video. 56. What did you do on the internet yesterday? What websites did you visit? Tell me about the things you did online yesterday. 57. Tell me about when you went to the movies recently. Who did you go with and how was the day? What did you do before and after the movie? 58. I would like to know about the last time you went to the movies. Tell me everything that happened that day, including all the things you did before and after the movie. 59. What was a memorable movie you watched in the past? What was it about? What was special about that movie? Would you recommend that movie to other people? 60. Who is one of your favorite actors? Tell me a specific story about something this actor did that you heard about in the news. Begin the story with some details about the actor or the actress and then tell me all the details of what happened, especially things that made this incident so interesting to movie fans. 61. Could you think back to a particularly memorable time when you heard live music? Describe that experience in detail. When was it? Where were you? Who were you with? What happened that made that performance so memorable or special? 62. Tell me about your first trip to another country or city. When did you go? Where did you visit? What did you do there? Who did you go with? Tell me about that trip with lots of details. 63. Sometimes, something out of the ordinary happens while traveling. I wonder if you have ever experienced anything surprising, unexpected, or unusual during a trip. Tell me the story of that experience in detail. Start by telling when and where you were traveling, and then give me all the details of that experience. 64. Think about another country that you visited when you were young. Describe what that country was like with lots of details. What were your impressions there? 65. Tell me a specific story about a time that you or someone you know traveled outside your country. Perhaps something happened that was funny, interesting, frightening, etc. Tell me the story of what happened from beginning to end. 66. Tell me about a foreign country you visited when you were young. What was special about that visit? What do you remember doing? 67. Describe the last time you went to a park. Which park was it? When was it? Tell me everything you did from the moment you arrived at the park to the time you left. 68. Tell me about a memorable experience you had at a park. Maybe there was a special event at the park. Maybe something unexpected happened. Begin by giving me some background about when and where it was. And then give me all the details about what happened. 69. Tell me about a time when you had trouble using your phone. What was the problem and how did you deal with the situation? 70. Tell me about a recent phone call you remember. Who did you talk to and what did you talk about? What made that phone call so memorable? 71. How did you get to pick your current phone? Did someone recommend that phone for you? What are some things that made you buy that phone? 72. Have any books had a positive effect on you? I'd like to know about one of those books. When did you come to read the book? What was the book about? How has reading that book affected your life? 73. Problems sometimes occur while recycling. Perhaps the pickup service did not come as planned. Or, the items were too big for the containers. Tell me about something memorable related to recycling. 74. Tell me about a time when you went to listen to some live music. Perhaps it was at a concert or a live cafe. What was the mood like and how did you like the music you listened to there? 75. Tell me what recycling was like when you were a child. Was there a particular place to which you took out the recyclables? Describe what it was like and what you did in detail. 76. Tell me what recycling was like when you were a child. Was there a particular place to bring the recyclables? Did you have special containers? Describe what it was like and what you did in detail. 77. Can you tell me a story or an experience you had related to recycling? Maybe something went wrong with the recycling or you might have had a discussion with a friend who disagrees with your opinions about recycling. Describe your experience in detail. 78. Tell me about a restaurant you ate out at recently. What kind of restaurant was it? What was their menu and what did you eat? Who did you go with? Did you like how the food tasted? 79. When was the last time you ate at a restaurant with an international menu? What was the occasion? Who was with you? What did you eat? Tell me the entire story of that visit. 80. Now, tell me about a restaurant you used to go to as a child. What was it like? What did you eat? Who did you go with? What do you remember most about that place? Tell me about that restaurant in as much detail as possible. 81. Describe for me a restaurant that you remember from your childhood. What was the restaurant like? Was it different from the restaurants you visit today? 82. Talk about the last time you used a takeout or delivery food service. What did you get and where was it? What do you remember about that experience? 83. Talk about a time when you prepared for a special occasion using a takeout or delivery service. You could have prepared food for a party. What kinds of food did you get from the restaurant? Tell me about that experience in as much detail as possible. 84. Talk about a time when you used a takeout or a delivery service for a special occasion involving a large number of people. What was the occasion? What did you have to do to use the service? Tell me about that experience in as much detail as possible. 85. Tell me about how you found out about a special food or grocery store. Maybe a new specialty store opened in your community or a new farmer's market opened and you wanted to try those places out. How did you find out about this new food or grocery store? 86. Tell me about a time when you were having a meal at a restaurant and something unusual or unexpected happened. Tell me the whole story in detail. 87. Tell me the story of the last time you had a chance to eat out at a restaurant. Where did you go? Who was with you? What did you have? Tell me everything that happened from start to finish. 88. Think of your early memories of shopping. Was there a store or a market you remember from your childhood? Describe this place for me in detail. What did it look like and what were your impressions of that place? 89. People sometimes go through difficulties while they are shopping. What were some problems you had to deal with while you were shopping? 90. When was the last time you went to shop for something? Where did you go and what did you buy? Who did you go with? What was special about that shopping experience? 91. Tell me about a posting that you remember. Maybe it was something that you put up, or it was by another person. Was a picture or a video clip attached to it? Why was it special or unforgettable? 92. How did you first become interested in swimming? Did somebody or something influence you? If so, who or what was it that got you interested in swimming? 93. Have you ever had an unforgettable experience while swimming? When was it and who were you with? Tell me about the incident from beginning to end. 94. Can you tell me about the last time you went swimming? What did you do before you went swimming? What did you do afterwards? Tell me about all the things you did that day. 95. Problems often come up because of our dependence on technology. Think about a time when you experienced a problem because some piece of technology was not working properly. Maybe your computer crashed or maybe your cell phone had no service. Tell me about a time when you had some kind of problem getting your technology to work. 96. Problems often arise related to transportation. Cars break down, trains run late, or there are traffic jams. Tell me about a transportation problem that you once faced. Tell me everything that happened and what you did to deal with the situation. 97. Can you tell me about a TV show or a movie that was particularly memorable? What was it and who was in it? Where did the action take place? What happened and why was it so memorable for you? Give me the details starting from the beginning to the end. 98. Describe exactly what you did during the last vacation that you spent at home. Give me a description from the first to the last day of all the people you saw and everything that you did. 99. Could you tell me about an unusual, unexpected, or satisfying experience you had while at home on vacation? Tell me all the details of that experience. What happened? Who was involved? And why was this experience so memorable? 100. Severe weather conditions can do a lot of damage. Tell me about an experience you had related to severe weather conditions. Perhaps a city was flooded, or maybe businesses or schools closed due to heavy snow. What was the problem? How did you deal with the situation? Give me all the details about that experience. 101. What is the first interested you in music? When you first listen your favorite song. Why did you like it? Has your taste in music changed at all?